If creating the life you want feels harder than it should, there's a reason for that. And it's not because you're lazy, undisciplined, or failing in some way. Most women I talk to, especially in midlife and beyond, actually know what they want. They want to feel more alive and free in their body. They want their days to feel lighter. They want more ease, purpose, more meaning, or to make money from their creative gifts and talent. These aren't vague dreams. They're very real. But when your life doesn't seem to move in the direction of what it is you want, something discouraging starts to happen. You set goals, you try again, you tell yourself, this time will be different. And when it isn't, you start wondering if maybe this is just how your life is going to be. For a long time, I honestly thought the problem was me. I was internalizing the fact that I would set goals, and every time I would tell myself, this time is going to be different. And a few weeks would go by, I would start out really strong, and then something would inevitably happen and I wouldn't be able to follow through. And I just sort of thought that I was undisciplined, I lacked motivation, I just couldn't be consistent with my goals. And I know that so many of us are going through the same thing, who set goals at the beginning of the year, thinking that this time is going to be different. And then a few weeks go by and we are falling back into our same old habits, the same routines, the same structures that kind of keep us stuck and in a place that we don't want to be in. And we start to feel like on some level we are failing. So I just want to make it very clear that you're not a failure, you're not broken, there isn't something wrong with you. But I do think that there is another reason why this feels so hard for so many of us. A few years ago, I read the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. It's one of the most practical books I've read about changing your life in a way that actually sticks. And there's an idea from that book that I come back to again and again. He says, you don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. What that helped me understand is this. Most people don't struggle because they lack motivation or discipline. They struggle because they don't have systems that support what they want. Reducing the friction on the things you want and increasing friction on the things you don't sounds simple, but it's one of the biggest reasons change doesn't happen. A lot of the things we want still take too much effort, and a lot of the things we're trying to change are still way too easy. Let me give you an example. Maybe you've always wanted to draw portraits, but every time you think about it, you have to dig out your supplies, clear space away on the table, get everything set up, and then clean it all up again when you're done. That small resistance is often enough to stop you before you even begin. So instead of asking yourself to be more motivated, what if you made it easier to start? A small toolkit you can grab easily, a sketchbook that lives out in the open, or a corner in your home that's already set up when the urge shows up. When starting doesn't feel like a whole ordeal, it's much more likely to happen. Or maybe you want to start creating YouTube videos. But if every time you want to film, you have to find your camera, charge the batteries, move your furniture around to figure out the best lighting. It's exhausting before you even begin. But by having a simple setup, like a small desk near a window where you always record, your camera and your microphones already charged, removes so much resistance. One of the biggest game changers for me has really been around just understanding the idea of creating friction in my life and removing friction. A lot of times the change that we want doesn't happen, not because we don't want to change or we're unmotivated, or it's not because we don't want something badly enough. It is often because not enough has changed in our environment to make it easy for us to attain that thing that we're after. If the things that you want are still really hard for you to access or for you to get started with, and the things that you don't want are still very easy and accessible for you, then your life and your environment are kind of set up to work against you, not to help you or to support you. Anything that you want to make a change on, you want things to be so effortless that you can do it really without much thought or very minimal to little inconvenience in your life. So you want fewer setups, you want less steps, you want more visibility on the thing that you want. So for example, if I want to eat healthier and I want to just clean up my diet and I go to my fridge and all of those same foods exist in my fridge and in my pantry, it's very easy for me when I'm tired or when I don't feel like preparing a healthy meal to rely and fall back into the habit of just grabbing things that are easy, things that are not so healthy and nutritious for me. But by not having those foods in my house at all, it increases the friction on eating those foods. So by having easy access to healthy foods, having my fridge and my pantry loaded with healthy, nutritious foods, having foods prepared, it is already available for me. I'm not having to think about washing it and taking it out. All of those little things that kind of chip away at your energy and your ability to make the changes you want to make when you're really tired or when you're feeling overwhelmed or stressed out. So the idea is really to reduce as much friction as possible so that the thing that you want becomes so effortless and easy that you can almost not avoid it, that it makes it almost impossible to not do the thing that you want, or it makes it very hard to access or do the thing that you don't want. If I tell myself that I don't want to scroll before bed and I want to read, or I just want to use that time to catch up on sleep and have a good bedtime routine, yet my cell phone is sitting next to my bed every time I go to sleep, it's easy to access, it's going to be very difficult for me to not, out of habit, just reach over for my phone, scroll before bed, stay up much later than I would like to stay up, and waste a lot of time and energy on something that I really don't want to be doing. Whereas if I take my phone and I put it somewhere out of sight, I charge it in another room, or I just turn it off for the evening, it reduces the likelihood that I'm going to get up and go look for that item. So I'm having to put myself through a lot of different steps. And somewhere along the way, hopefully I would be reminded that I have it put away for a reason, and I'm reminded why this is important for me to begin with. So I'm not forcing myself to do anything that I don't want to do. I'm just setting up my environment in a way that supports the life that I want, just to make it easier on myself to do the things that I say that I want to do. I don't really do big resolutions anymore. I don't set lofty goals and expect myself to become a new person overnight. What I do instead is tune into a direction, alignment, how I want my life to feel, and then I focus on the process that could support it. The systems matter more than the outcome. One thing I'm working towards in my life right now is creating a deeper sense of well-being. I want my days to feel lighter, mentally, physically, and emotionally. I'm not quite there yet, but I'm experimenting with a few supportive systems to help me along the way, like journaling, daily movement, taking my supplements, and replacing nighttime snacking with a calming tea ritual. I really try not to focus on an outcome when I think about changing habits or working towards a goal, because I find an outcome is out of my control. The things that I can control are the process. The things that I can control are the daily actions that I take in my life to help me work towards that thing that I want. So if I want to grow my YouTube channel and I want to increase my income this year, rather than focusing on like a subscriber goal, like reaching 100,000 subscribers, for example, I would focus on the daily habits that I need to take to help me put out the best quality content that I can put out, to help me connect deeper with my audience, to help me create content that resonates. And that's the way that I would build income streams through my channel, by just focusing on the things that are within my control. When I focus on the process versus always being so results focused, I notice that I'm not so stressed about wondering if I've achieved this thing that I want yet. I'm not so focused on the goal itself, and I'm definitely more present because I am so focused on the day-to-day things that I need to do to help me kind of work towards that goal. It just takes a lot of the stress and the pressure off of myself to focus more on the things that are within my control, the actions that I can take, versus always worrying, how many subscribers have I gotten to today? What is my monthly revenue at with my channel? All of these things can be really stressful when I'm just focused on external success metrics. Your consistency really comes from focusing on the process. And, on days when you're feeling really tired or you're overwhelmed, it's the process that you can always come back to. So when you focus on the process, the things that you can actually control, you realize that there's something you can do about it, even on the hard days. For most people, the issue isn't a lack of competence. It's a lack of systems that support their life and who they actually are. Once you see that, the shame, the guilt, and the frustration starts to fall away. So how do you stay consistent with your goals, keep up with all of your systems when you have a very busy life and a very unpredictable schedule? I would say I could very easily relate to all of that because my life is also very unpredictable in many ways. And I think the biggest thing is really removing the idea that everything needs to be perfect, allowing yourself to show up and do the bare minimum on days that you're feeling really exhausted. So having an understanding of what bare minimum looks like. What is the smallest thing that you can do to work towards, this thing? So if I want to have a daily journaling habit, on a really busy, tiring day, it may not look like stickers and washi tape and a 4 to 5 page spread. It could really just be getting a few thoughts out of my head for the day and just having a few notes on a page and, letting that be enough. Or it could also be getting in the most basic workout that I can do that day versus a bigger 20 or 25-minute workout that requires equipment and all of the things. So I think just being flexible and not so rigid with yourself, and having an understanding that even when things are not at their top tier level, that it's not failure. You just have to be a little gentler with yourself sometimes. I think a lot of times we fall off track because we're not doing it perfectly. Maybe we want to eat better and, that day we've had an off day and we've defaulted back into old habits. And then we think, well, that's it. I guess I'm done with this goal. And we just sum ourselves up to being failures or lazy when it's really just, we just had a bad day. And remembering that it's okay and tomorrow is a new day. Just giving yourself some grace throughout this process will help you remain consistent so that you're not beating yourself up anytime you have fallen off the wagon or you've just had a hard day. Choose one thing you really want. And instead of asking yourself, why can't I stick with this? Or worrying about falling off the wagon, ask yourself, how can I reduce the friction? How can I make this easier? You don't need to try harder. You just need a system that's built to support you.